Hi kids, all my topics so far have been very educational, but this time we're going to dive into the world of fantasy. And also, I'm introducing a special guest. Today's topic is monsters. But what is a monster? A monster is an imaginary creature whom you can make to be whatever in the world you want. Now, be ready for a story with different kinds of monsters. Spooky monsters, scary monsters, loving monsters, cute monsters, funny monsters, and ugly monsters. Let's dive in. But note that it's all only fiction, it's imaginary, and please don't try this in real life.
It was a bright and clear morning when two children, Rose and Ron, were exploring their manor for ingredients for a know-it-all potion. Rose was 9 and had shiny and long dark hair, bright blue eyes, and thin long legs. Ron, on the other hand, had a naughty green eyes, messy hair, and was a foodie. They climbed the ladder to the attic with their ingredients: vegetable oil, glue, and slime. Up there, they mixed everything in a dusty bowl, and at the end, it smelled like berries and looked like chocolates. They carried it carefully, but not carefully enough, for while pouring it into a vial, a drop spilt on their shared blanket. Rose and Ron noticed nothing, but went on with their day, finished dinner, and went to bed. The next morning, they woke up, looked at each other, and yelled loudly. To start with, they weren't in their house. They were levitating in the air and looked large, colorful, funny, and weird as weird could be. They got afraid and went to get help. Outside was more weirder than them. The most weird-looking house was where they decided to walk through. Knocking at the door and looking around, they realized they were in Monstrously, a place where there were no humans, only monsters. It was cool, but scary. The door opened and they met their first friend, Bubble Twig. She asked them, "Who are you, and are you lost?" Rose and Ron told her everything, and since Bubble Twig was getting late for school, she decided to let them tag along. They reached a huge building and walked in. Rose and Ron saw thousands of monsters hurrying to different rooms. Bubble Twig told Rose and Ron to stay at the garden, but they wandered away. While Bubble was in class, Rose and Ron met Hecate Hardster, a hard and strict monster, the principal. Not knowing that they were not students, she sent them to a classroom on the 4th floor called the Know-It-All class, which was also Bubble's class. Bubble introduced them to her 3 best friends. They were the Buds, B for Bubble Twig, U for Unicorn Frost, D for Daisy Twine, and S for Sugar Plum. Rose and Ron had a blast and learned a lot about monsters. The first thing they learned is that monsters are not scary. The second thing is that they loved eating sugar. Strangely, that their food is sweet and their desserts are salty. Strange, right? The third thing is that they have monster pets, and the pets have human names like Jack and John. And the last thing that they knew was that they have solutions to all problems, even theirs. They decided to make a potion that is similar to their potion that will reverse the effect. After school, the Buds, Rose and Ron, went to meet Professor Ava Cackle and told her everything. Ava Cackle was knowing the solution to everything, and she was a half human and half monster. The Buds said their goodbyes, and Miss Cackle made Rose and Ron a potion called MMM, Monstrously Magical Milk. Boom! Rose and Ron were back in their room. They were unsure that was it a dream or was it real?
Now it's time for our special guest. This time it's going to be my younger sister Ahaana. Thank you so much for doing this for me.
Hello everybody, it's time for a fun activity. So we're making today a tricky, sticky, friendly monster. Are you ready? Yep, you're ready, right? You can have a messy mat or this newspaper, old newspaper, and make sure you can only spill your paint on the messy mat. Then a sketchbook or just plain paper. 10 paints. If you don't have small liquid bottles of paints, you can just use these paints. A bowl of water, a steel, a metal straw, and monsters don't like garbage, and a paper plate, and you can cut it in half, some glue, googly eyes, markers, and you also need a scissor. Now I'm going to put a big blob in the middle and blow away. Watch what happens. Now our monster bodies are dry. Yoo-hoo! It's time to add in the details. You can use your Fevicol to add in the mouth and eye. Now the tricky, friendly monsters are ready. I hope you have fun doing them. Bye.
Bye, and I hope you have a monstrously magical